Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crocheting Coffee here. And today we are going to do a whipping chat. Now I know you guys have been missing the whipping chats. I know, I heard you. I have been dealing with so much stuff. Oh my gosh. I haven't had a chance. I didn't even realize last week I didn't post a whipping chat. And I'm like, what is going on right now that I have been posting so much stuff that I forgot to post a whipping chat? So this won't go up until later in the afternoon of on Wednesday. So, you know, it doesn't really matter depending on when you watch it. But yeah. So hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day and you're pulling out your projects to work with me. If you don't know, I am still currently working on, let me see if I can find the pic. There it is. Island Time by Diamond Art Club. It's a Chuck Pinson piece. It is beautiful. We are working right here today. So right where all that beautiful purple is and the palm tree, we're getting close to that little parrot in the tree, and up here by the trees. I just finished the house here. I have gotten quite a bit of it done because the last time you guys seen this was for Mindful Monday, and I only had that part done. So I've gotten these two rooftops done, and now I'm working over on this side. So yeah, working on this. I've been trying to pace myself a little bit so I don't burn myself out because the confetti is real. Which that's to be expected with any diamond painting that has landscapes. Like, you're gonna have some kind of confetti. Now, I wasn't expecting this kind of confetti, but then the more I look at the entire image, I'm glad it does have the confetti. Like, I'll be glad when it's over and I can actually see it hanging up on the wall. But for right now, I'm just like, good gravy, can it be done? Am I the only person that gets like that? I'm not nearing the end for the most part. I still have a good quarter of the painting to go. But at this point, I'm like, you know, don't get me wrong. I love the canvas. It's beautiful. It's easy to work on. No issues there. My issue is I'm sick of the confetti. My good gravy. So I've been taking and working on this during the day, and then at night I've been working on my coloring. Now, I know some of you aren't into the coloring, and if you're not, you know, that's fine. That's cool. You don't have to watch those videos. But I actually really am enjoying the coloring. It really is a nice break from diamond painting. Essentially for me, it's in the same realm, except for instead of placing something down, I'm shading something in. Like, I'm filling something in with color. So, like, I love that I have something else I can do when I just don't want to diamond paint. Because there are days, and I'm not the only person that feels this way. I'm not. There are days where I'm just like, you know what? I don't feel like diamond painting. And then I kind of feel obligated to do so. So I do it. And then I'll sit there for, like, you know, however long, procrastinating to work on it. And then I'm just like, I will literally sit here and look at the painting sitting on the table all day. I'm going to find another color. I'm going to find this. Let's go for the percent sign. I will sit here and look at this painting all day on this table. I will do everything else. I will watch TV. I will play with the kids. I will play with the dogs. I'll take the dogs out 2 or 3 extra times a day. And then I'll come back and be like, I've got nothing done. And then I'll be upset because I got nothing done. So I'm sitting here, and right now I was coloring in my grayscale book that I just got. You guys will see a flip through of that here probably next week. But I was looking through the grayscale book I just got and decided to give that a try because I've been watching Affordable Colorist. She's been kind of giving us a lesson on how to attack grayscale. And even though she has a different coloring style than me, I was sitting there watching her one night, and she is very out of the box, which is why I like her channel so much. She doesn't just, you know, use color pencils. She doesn't just use markers. She, like, you know, has this whole process that she does. And I respect that process, and I love the fact that she's so out of the box, but I just can't follow that process. Like I don't mind using chemicals and stuff for my paintings and stuff, but I don't want, I'm not trying to hang it in a museum. So like a lot of colorists use something called Gamasol, which is like a mineral spirit of some sort that you use to help blend the colors really nice. And I'm like, I'm just now getting used to the blender pencil, let alone Gamasol. Like, I don't want to get into chemicals, spill something all over the place. I'm clumsy. I know I'll have that stuff spilled all over the place. And so, like, I kind of had a little bit of an epiphany, and I was like, she's showing us the basics, but she's not saying that we have to do it like she does. She's just showing you how easy it is to do it. And in my head, sometimes I get lost in my head because it's scary in there. But I get lost in my head and I start thinking that when I'm watching tutorials on how to diamond paint or how to color or, you know, crochet, I'm thinking that I have to do it exactly like they do if I want the result that I want. And then I realize I don't. I can just do this however I want to, just like with diamond painting. Some people like multi-placers, some people don't. Like, if you guys know Stitcherista, she doesn't like multi-placers. Me, I love multi-placers. I don't mind placing the drills down, and if they're a little wonky, going back and fixing them. But there's some people who don't like them. And it doesn't mean that they're doing it wrong. It just means that they do things different than you. So I was just like, you know what? I appreciate the fact that she's taken time, and she does live streams every other day on her channel, The Affordable Colorist. And I'm like, I appreciate the fact that she's taken time out of her busy schedule to show us how to do grayscale. Now, she doesn't just do coloring. She does like gaming too and stuff. But the fact that she took time out to show us that, I'm incredibly grateful, because I literally, like, I've been watching Stitcherista with her grayscale, and I'm like so intimidated to do it because it's something new. It's something I've never done before. Coloring is something that all people do. Like, you do it as a child, and then like when you grow up, you're just kind of like, you know, that's something for kids, and then you find out, no, it's not. You know, adults do color. And, you know, it's nice too, because that's something that I can do with Maggie and Orion that they like to do as well. Like, you know, they're 6 and 8, so like diamond painting isn't their jig. Maggie will diamond paint. You guys have seen Maggie will diamond paint. Orion will diamond paint every once in a while, but, you know, it's not his thing. And I don't want to force them to do something that, you know, isn't their thing. So when I took up coloring, I figured this would be a great way for me and the kids to be able to like do something together when we're in the house. And it's been awesome. Like, I don't think I've spent so much time with the kids and them be so happy and not fighting or, you know, fussing about stuff. So I'm actually really happy that I picked up coloring. And it seems like a lot of you guys do like the coloring segment on the channel. So, like, I would like to hear everybody's thoughts, though. Like, you know, good, bad, ugly, whatever. What do you guys think of the coloring? Do you like it? Do you not like it? You know, do you prefer just diamond painting? And you don't have to be rude or snooty about it. Like, you can just be like, you know what? It's not for me. And I have had a few people go, you know, it's just not for me. And that's cool. That's fine. But I do really, really enjoy it. And so it will probably stay on the channel, especially since I've, you know, been investing in it. And by investing, I mean buying a bunch of supplies and showing you guys all kinds of cool stuff, like the 168-piece marker set that I got from Amazon. Like, I do like it. Let's see here. We're gonna find letter S, which is right here. But anyways, so yeah, just let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you like the coloring? And eventually you guys will actually get to see me color instead of me posting pictures like in the group. I've posted my pictures on Crafters Anonymous with Miss Crochet and Coffee. And I also posted on my Instagram, which is just Miss Crochet and Coffee. I show, you know, progress reports on like how I'm doing with my coloring and stuff. And you guys get to see Mindful Monday, and you guys seem to really enjoy the coloring on Mindful Monday. And it's nice to be able to do that, where you guys get to see from beginning to end me coloring a coloring book page. It does take some time, and a lot of those clips are essentially put together to make that. But I really do like doing it because then you guys can sort of see, even though it's sped up, you can sort of see what my process and everything is with that. So I do like it. So it will be something that I think will stick because I have so many questions, so many freaking questions. And I'm not saying that just because it's going to be something on the channel that you guys have to pick it up, like you guys have to color. You don't have to color. And I'm not going to be like, going over it, as someone mentioned in one of my comments, going over to the dark side of coloring. No. One, the coloring community seems very, very nice. And two, my page isn't primarily going to be like one craft. I did want to always incorporate more than one craft. Like a lot of us on YouTube, you want to have more than one craft because, again, like I've stated before, you don't want to get bored or burnt out on the one craft that is centered around your channel, and then you just don't offer that on your channel anymore because people come to see that thing. So if you have diamond painting in your name, I kind of feel like, because when I first started, I think I just had, my name was just Crochet and Coffee, or Miss Crochet and Coffee, and people kept thinking that it was just for crocheting. And now I rarely ever do crocheting. One, I don't do it because I am gathering a stockpile of crochet patterns. The reason I'm doing that is so that, because a lot of people will not crochet in the summer. It is hot outside, okay? There was just a heat vortex somewhere on the East Coast. And so it got up to temperatures of 101 and over. So it's too hot to crochet in some places. And where I live, and me, I don't care what the weather is. I'll crochet all day. But I understand that a lot of people do not crochet in the summer. So what I'm doing is I'm going to have crocheting as like a winter series. Like you can only get crochet videos on my channel during the winter. Because then that way, it's not too cold to crochet. I mean, unless you live like, in Australia or somewhere that has the opposite weather as us. Which, I'm not going to lie, for the longest time, I didn't think that was real. And then I want to say it was either Pippa or Aussie Diamond Painters. One of them said something to me once about the opposite weather. And I was like, I'm sorry, say what now? So, like, while we're having winter, they're having summer. And I'm like, oh, good gravy. So, yeah, like, crocheting is going to be one of those things that is on my channel in the winter time where it's cold outside where I live and most of the US, so that everybody can participate that wants to participate, and they don't have to wait until that season, because I know a lot of people do that. So yeah, let's see what else has been going on. I've been doing a lot of practicing with my coloring. I have also been taking care of the kids a lot more. And when I say that, I mean, like, Maggie hasn't been doing the best with her seizures. She's been having a little bit more seizures than we like for her to have. And seeing as how, we're paying all this money and traveling so far to take her to go see all these specialists and doctors, and still, after spending thousands of dollars, still have no answers to this, it gets kind of frustrating. So as a mom, I'm like, can we just find out what's wrong so we can fix it? And then as, person, that looks after her, I'm like, can we just find something that's wrong and fix it? Because, like, at this point, she is tired of it. I am tired of it. But there is a plus side. Like, no matter what is going on, there's a plus side to it. Whether it be, like, if you're having the worst day in the world, there's a plus side to it. Always. There's always that silver lining. Like, and I try to look at it like that. Like, okay, perfect example. The other day, I'm sitting here and I don't know what I was doing. I think I was actually swatching colors for my color pencils, and Maggie starts throwing this hellacious fit because on her game, she couldn't pet the puppy. Now, I'm not sure what the world is going on. She was playing Roblox with her brother, okay? So Lord knows what Orion had her doing, but whatever it was, she was upset because she couldn't pet the puppy. Why is it that every game this poor child plays, there's a dog and she can't pet it? It's like the most insane thing I've ever heard. And she gets so upset because all she wants to do, Maggie's goal in life is to pet puppies, okay? If there was a job and the job paid her enough to live, and she could have her own house, and essentially make a life, and her job title be pet puppies, that would be Maggie's job title. Now take it, we have 2 dogs, okay? And she pets them all day. Like, they literally run from her because she won't stop loving on them. Daisy, she puts up with it a little bit better than Killian. Killian starts like kind of chattering at her and then batting at her to leave him alone. And so she's playing this game and she can't pet this dog, and the dog is running from her in the game, and you just hear her in the room, no, come back, puppy, I want to pet you, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave that alone. Like, I'm not gonna go in there and see what she's doing. Like, every time this happens, the war starts. So I'm just sitting back waiting for it. I'm waiting for the tears and the fit. And sure enough, like on cue, she starts causing a ruckus because she can't pet this freaking puppy. And I'm sitting here like, Maggie, it's not even real. Funny thing is, Daisy is sitting right next to her. She's not petting Daisy, but she wants to pet this virtual puppy. She can't pet the puppy, which means time to throw a temper tantrum. Now, Maggie is 6, but she is spoiled to death. I will give her that. She is spoiled. It is completely our fault. We take full responsibility. Our kid, raise her how we want her, moving on. So, and I'm not complaining that she fusses. Like, she's 6. That's what they do. Like, kids are crybabies. But she will fuss, and then you go to ask her what's wrong, and then she gets mad because you asked her what's wrong. She's the only child I know that when you try to help her find a solution to a problem, she gets hella mad, okay? Like, mad. And she'll sit there with a little attitude. Maggie, what's wrong? Nothing. I just want to pet the puppy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Like, you're joking, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to find a way to ask her what's wrong. And the problem is with Maggie, sorry, I'm finding a color. With Maggie, I try to keep her as calm as possible because I know that the seizures are triggered by stress. So, how do you keep a 6-year-old from stressing out? You don't. There's no way. There's no way on God's green earth to keep a 6-year-old from flipping out and losing her ever-loving mind. So, me being the person that I am, I'm like, there's gotta be a way. I can find a way. No, there's no way. There's no way. If you're ever in a situation like this, where you essentially have to figure out how to keep a small child under the age of like 8 or 9 from flipping out, just know it's a losing battle, okay? I've been losing the same battle for, about a year and a half now? Almost 2 years? Yeah, it sucks because you can't help her with the seizures. And then it sucks because you can't keep her from stressing out either. Like, she's 6. The only way to keep her from stressing out is to give her what she wants, which is part of the reason why she's spoiled. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I have to go check on her. I have to go see what's up. So I go, Maggie, what's wrong? Nothing. I just want to pet the puppy. And then with Maggie's seizures, there's no telltale sign. There's no warning. They just come on. And again, she has what we call focal seizures, where she will now, because they've developed into focal seizures, they used to just be absent seizures where she would, look like she's daydreaming. Now they're focal seizures where she's literally walking and she'll walk into stuff. If she's sitting down, she just starts kind of wiggling back and forth. And I don't know why, in my chair just now, I just wiggled back and forth like you guys can see me wiggle. But she was sitting on the floor in Orion's room and she's wiggling back and forth. And then she, like, before she starts wiggling and stuff, before she goes into the seizure, she's like crying and throwing a fit, and I'm like losing my mind, because I'm like, will you, for the love of all that is holy, will you stop? Will you just stop? Like, it's a dog. It's not even real. There's a real dog sitting right next to you. Just pet the real dog, okay? All your life problems right now can be solved if you just look to your right, and there's a gigantic 110-pound dog right there that is willing and able for you to pet, but you have to cry over the 100 or the 2 little megapixel puppy that you can't get a hold of. And then she goes into a seizure. And, we're so used to them, we don't really freak out too much unless something new happens. And this was like a normal, typical seizure. So she dozed off, or she didn't doze off. She started daydreaming. And out of nowhere, hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. Where was I? So yeah, so she's throwing this fit, and then she goes into the seizure. And like I said, unless something new happens with it, we don't freak out about it anymore. So she's sitting there, she's, throwing this hellacious fit. She then goes into the seizure. So we're just sitting there, we're waiting for her to snap out of it, and usually I'll pick her up and hold her. Daisy, of course, was sitting right there next to her, like, kind of like licking her face, trying to get her to come to. And there's no stopping Daisy. Like, if Daisy wants to lick her face, you let Daisy lick her face. Like, that's her dog. I'll clean her face when she's done. But she comes out of it. The problem is, which isn't really a problem, but it kind of is, she forgets the last 5 seconds before she was in the seizure. So, like, she can be throwing a hellacious fit, and then she'll come out of the seizure, and she'll be like, Mommy, can I have some Kool-Aid? Just normal talking, like she wasn't just throwing the biggest fit ever. And for the longest time, I thought I was losing my mind. Like, I literally was sitting here, and I look at Mr. Coffee like, what the hell just happened? So, like, the silver lining there is when she's throwing a fit, and she does get super stressed out to the point where she, gets into a seizure. By the time she gets out of it, seizure's over. So is the fit. She doesn't remember that she was throwing a fit, and then she'll just go on with her life. But they seem to be getting a little bit worse than what they were, and I've been having a lot of issues with that because of the fact that I've been hearing about so many people. One, if you have something wrong with your child like this, I wouldn't suggest going online about it. I wasn't warned about this, and I went online, and just the information on there freaked me out. And then that kid from the Disney Channel that passed away from his seizures and everything, and I'm just like, I'm freaking out because, oh my gosh, what if something happens to my kid? So again, I would highly suggest that you don't look up this type of stuff online. Just like when they tell you when you're sick, don't look on Google for your symptoms. Yeah, I wouldn't advise it. But it's been driving me nuts because lately I've been so super sensitive to anything seizure related. So, like, I'll end up going for a walk, or I will just sit here staring off into space myself. And it's because it's frustrating trying to figure out and help your child when there's nothing you can do to help them. So I've been racking my brain, and Mr. Coffee's been, trying to calm me down and let me know, we're going to be going to see the doctor here soon. And we're leaving this weekend to go see the doctor. And he's like, we're going to go see the doctor soon. Hopefully they'll have some answers. They have a couple of things that they want to go over with us. So, maybe this time will be the time where we actually get some answers. Because usually the reason why we stopped going to the neurologist is because those appointments, we would drive the 5.5 hours to this clinic, which it was essentially in a hospital. And the neurologist would look at Maggie, and, unless you trigger a seizure, she looks like a normal kid. Like, you would never think that she has seizures. And at the doctor's office, where she's nervous, and that sometimes will bring on a seizure, usually when we go, she's not nervous or anything. So she's fine. And then, like, the last time we went, the appointment lasted 20 minutes. We drove 5.5 hours to get there. The appointment lasted 20 minutes, and he went, let's try new medication. And I'm like, could you not have called us on the phone for that? Because The kids missed 2 days of school. Mr. Coffee missed 2 days of work. And we're just sitting there like, was that it? Like, he literally just had to run up and down a hallway and then was like, let's try new medication. I'm like, you know what? She runs up and down the hallway at home for free. I just probably paid like out the nose for this. So we decided, you know, unless it was something big, like they wanted to do testing, something else besides look at her, because since we moved to North Dakota, she hasn't had any testing done. Like, they haven't done their own test or anything. And I'm like, unless you're doing some kind of testing, I'm not making that drive again. Not doing it. It's too much on the kids. It's too much on Mr. Coffee because he's usually the one driving. I'm like, I'm not doing it. So we stopped going. We haven't seen the neurologist since December, and we've called him a few times to ask him about stuff, and he's upped Maggie's medication quite a few times because she had a growth spurt and grew out of her dosage. And so we had to call because she was having seizures, a lot of seizures then. And so he upped the dosage, which helped, but now they're starting to get worse again. And I'm like, you know, there's no way she's going through this many growth spurts. Like, yeah, she's grown out of a couple of her clothes, but like, come on now. She's not the Jolly Green Giant. She's not growing an inch every day or something. Like, you know what I mean? So we're now going to be taking her, which I'm not sure why we didn't go to this person before, but we're now taking her to an epilepsy specialist instead of a neurologist. And we're going to see if this avenue works a little bit better for us. And this person, this doctor comes into he does a clinic at this hospital, the same hospital, every few months. So every few months we will be making this trip, I guess, now to go see this neurologist and see what they have to say about her seizures and getting some tests done, because the original neurologist said that, you know, they were going to call the hospital here and have them do the test and then send it to them, but then none of that ever happened. So I'm hoping the epilepsy specialist will have some answers. So yeah, that's what's been going on with that part of life. So it's been a little stressful, and, you know, getting things ready for the trip and everything else. Sorry, I got diamonds like falling off, and I'm pulling up diamonds as I'm leaning on them too hard. So yeah, other than that, I've been essentially trying to, I haven't really been keeping a low profile. I've been just kind of spending time with the kids since Mr. Coffee got back. The trip to Pennsylvania was a really long trip for Mr. Coffee, and I stressed the entire time. I'm always stressed out when he leaves, though, mainly because, like, it's just me and the little ones. And then, like, have you ever looked at your kids and went, okay, what do I do with them? I feel like summertime, I have that, what do I do with them? And, like, I'll take them to the park, and then they'll just sit there and stare at me, and they're like, Mom, it's too hot for this. I'll take them to the pool, and they're like, Mom, can we go home and play with our toys? And it's a never-ending battle. And I thought the boredom thing, you know, with Minna was bad enough. But the little ones, they're homebodies. They like to be at home. I mean, even with their friends will come over to the house and hang out with them, and then that, you know, they're cool with that. Like, they don't need to leave the house. Which in one way is nice, I guess. But in another way, I'm just sitting here like, you guys should probably, like, does anybody else have to force their children to go outside? Like, I feel like I literally have to kick them out of the house. Like, okay, get up and get out of the house. Like, leave this house. The other day, I asked them, you know, if they want to go outside and play. It hasn't been super hot here. I think the highest temperature has been 80 in the last 4 days. And we always have high winds because, again, we have like 6 trees here. So, thanks to Wolfpack. And so I'm like, you know, there's always a breeze going. So it's always really, really, you know, nice here. So I'm like, don't you guys want to go outside and play? Maggie, she's all about going outside. She's the adventurous one. She wants to go dig in the dirt. She wants to go play in the dirt, roll in the grass, all that fun jazz. But with my germophobia, I'm like, please don't play in the grass because dogs pee there. And then when they come in, I make them get showers because, again, dogs pee there. So the other day, I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know what? I can't remember the last time they went outside to play. Minus, like, every day I've been trying to get them out of the house at least once to go with me to, like, the dog park. because they don't always go. Sometimes the neighbor will come and watch them while I take them out. And so I'm like, you know, why don't you guys come with me to the dog park? And they'll be like, no, we don't want to. Can Sandy come watch us? We don't want to leave. So the other day, it was just a bad day. I don't remember what was going on. It was just a bad day. And I was like, you know what? You're getting out of this house. And they just kind of looked at me. I literally picked up my children and put them, like I Flintstones my kids. I put them outside on the porch, closed the door, waved at them like they were getting ready to leave the house, like legit leave the house. And I was just like, bye, go have fun. Like, does anybody else have to do that with their kids? Like, you have to force your children to go outside. Like, I feel like, and it's bad because I'm like, and it's not like they're doing anything special in the house. They're just wanting to be in the house. they're and it's sad because they're like me, so I can't fault them. But it's like, you know, yeah, we want to be in the house. Our stuff is here. Like, this is our home. Why wouldn't we want to be home? So like that entire time Minna was here, the little ones, every time I'd say we were going somewhere, again? And I'm like, Minna would look at me and I'm like, dude, your brother and sister don't like leaving the house. Like, they're worse than me when it comes to leaving the house. Orion, tell him he have to get out of his pajamas. He loses his mind. I can't stay in my pajamas? And I feel bad because the other day I asked him, you know, because school starts here, I want to say on the 28th or the 25th or 6th or something. It's usually like right after my birthday. And I asked him, you know, are you excited to go back to school? School's going to be starting up soon. You're like, are you excited? Maggie, she's all about it. She's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to start school. I'm ready to start school. I'm ready to see my friends. Because she's 6, so her friends don't come over too often except for like the one little girl that lives down the street. And she's annoying. But Orion, he's just kind of like, eh. And I'm like, why are you not excited? But he goes, I don't know. And we got them like some prep books. And they love the prep books. And Orion has been working diligently in his. Maggie just kind of like sees it and she's just like, you know, mommy, let's do all the things all at once. And then the moment I sit down and do them, she's like, I don't want to do this, I'm bored. Which also drives me nuts. So, and I'm pretty sure she's not the only 6-year-old that, you know, she'll want to do something. Like, your kid will want to do something with you, and then the moment you finally agree after they've bugged you all day about doing it, the moment you agree and sit down to do it with them, they're like, I don't want to do that anymore. It makes you want to rip all the hair off your scalp, right? Right. Okay, so, like, the other day when I put them outside, I go in their rooms, Maggie's just sitting, Maggie was in her closet, because Maggie has a big walk-in closet. Maggie's in her closet, just sitting there happily on the floor playing with toys. And Orion was in his room under his bed on his laptop. And I posted a picture of that on Instagram because, you know, I have people all the time that are like, you know, Miss Coffee, does your son really, you know, chill out underneath the bed? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. He really does this. Like, he really gets up underneath the bed and is sitting there chilling like it's a clubhouse. And he will, now he has a laptop, so he will legit, you know, sit up underneath the bed and play on the laptop or play in his activity book or something. And usually when he's playing on a laptop, he's playing some online thing called Prodigy, which is a thing from this school. And I know he is because the other day he comes out and he goes, Mom, you forgot my gift. In this little virtual game that the school has set up for them, it's by age grade, but it's by their grade, and essentially, you know, you can set goals on your side, and it's like an $8.99 subscription if it's not from school. If it's from school while they're in school, it's free. And he's sitting there, and is that a T? Yeah. He's sitting there and he comes out and he's like, Mom, you didn't give me my gift. And at first I didn't know what he was talking about. Now, this thing that we pay for, since he's not in school right now, you set goals, and when they meet the goals, you can give them a virtual gift. And the virtual gift will help them get through the other levels of the game. And again, it's a educational game, so I don't mind that he plays that. The problem was he played the game for like, I don't know, forever. And it seemed like every 10 minutes he was coming out, Mom, Mom, my gift. Mom, Mom, my gift. And I kept getting the notifications, but I'm like literally in the middle of doing something, whether it was cooking dinner or making breakfast or something. Like, he's just like, Mom, Mom, my gift. Okay. So then I have that going on. Also, with my Amazon haul, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do a little upgrade. When I was in Pennsylvania at my parents' house, I noticed something on my dad's nightstand. And I was like, that's cool. It was scrolling through the weather, but it looked like a little miniature TV. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's the Echo Show. And I'm like, hold up, for what does that mean? Like, I always tell my parents they have like rich people stuff because it's stuff that I've never seen or heard of before. And he goes, the Echo Show is just like the Echo Dot. And when you say the A word, it wakes up and shows you all kinds of fun stuff. And, you can do just about anything with it. He goes, except for with this one, I can make videos, like video calls. And I was like, hold up, for real? He goes, yeah, you can make calls and stuff from it. Now, I probably should have rethought this because I'm having buyer's remorse. But I got one because on Prime Day, they went down from $90 to $50. And I was like, hold up, for real? But it wasn't the same one that like my dad has. The one my dad has is like literally looks like a miniature TV. The one I have is a little bit smaller, which is nice because it fits right behind me here on the desk. I have like a little desk right there. Fits right behind me on the desk. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, well, that'd be great because then Maggie can FaceTime Paw whenever she wants to because she's constantly wanting to message him over FaceTime so she can see his face while she's talking to him. Don't know why that's such a big thing to her, but that's a big thing to her. So I'm like, okay, I'll get this and I'll put the Dot in the kids' room and then I will have the show out here with me. That way too, I can, when it's time for dinner and stuff and they're not listening to me or they can't hear me, I can have the Dot call the show call the Dot, and then they can come out for dinner. It's a small apartment, so it's not like they can't hear me anyways. But I was like, this would be cool. Yeah, no, I lied. It's not cool. So the other day, I'm sitting here minding my own business, and Maggie said something, and I cursed. I was like, what the? Now, I'm one of those parents. Judge me if you will. I don't really give a crap. These are my kids. I raised them the way I want to. But I cursed in front of my children. I try not to. So it's not like I sit here and just throw F-bombs around all willy-nilly. Like I try to plan them carefully because I know every once in a while I can get away with one, but usually not really. Maggie will yell at me to stop cursing, so I will stop. But I'm sitting here and every once in a while, curse word just slips out. Just like I have curse word diarrhea sometimes. Like it just right out of my mouth. I don't even know it happening. I can't control it. There's not enough elasticity in my mouth to stop it. So like it just comes out. Anyways, so I'm sitting here and I stepped in something and I was like, what the is this? And Maggie goes, oh, mommy, you cursed. And I'm like, oh, hush, Maggie. And she's like, I'm going to tell Pawpaw. I'm like, yeah, okay. Now, normally she says this, but because she has to use my phone to call Pawpaw, to me, it's an empty threat. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead and call Pawpaw. Because then by the time Pawpaw calls or we call him, she done forgot. Like, there's been so much stuff that happened in that time frame, she's forgotten. Yeah, not this time. I went to the bathroom. I come back, and she's on the show, and she's like, Pawpaw, mommy cursed. She said the F word. And for those of you who don't know, I am an adult. I am 34 years old. My daughter is 6. She called my dad on me to tell him that I was cursing, and I got a lecture about cursing in front of my kids. So for those of you that are like, she's a horrible mother, she curses in front of her kids, don't worry, I get in trouble for it. Literally get in trouble for it. Like, I'm a grown woman, and my dad will literally fuss me out whenever I cuss at my kids. Or not at them, but, around them. And I'm just like, Maggie, who are you talking to? And she's like, Pawpaw. I'm like, why are you talking to Pawpaw? And how did you? Oh, God, no. And just the look on his face. And he goes, so she knows how to use the show. And I was like, apparently. Because all she has to do is tell it to call Pawpaw. And I set it up that easily so that whenever she would like to call her sister or Pawpaw, she can. Well, that was a bad idea. Because now, anytime she wants to call Pawpaw to tell on me, she can. If he's home. That's the kicker. And usually he's at work during the day. So I'm like, oh, you know, by the time he gets home from work, she'll forget. Nope. She looks at the clock and she can tell. That's the thing that kills me about my kids. They claim they can't do stuff, but they can do it when it's convenient for them. Like, Maggie is 6, so you know, you wouldn't think she would be able to tell time because she hasn't quite learned that yet. But she knows exactly what time on the clock that Pawpaw is home. And she will call him on the show, and he sits there and he's like, hey, Maggie, how's it going? And I'm just like, oh, good gravy. So, yeah, so I got fussed at by my dad about cursing in front of the kids. So, yeah. Anyways, let's see. Oh, funny story. Whose live was I in? I was in somebody's live. Was it Fruitini? Fruitini does lives like every day or every other day, or I'm not sure exactly what her schedule is, but I will always try to make it to her lives. And it's hilarious because, like, the one day I'm sitting here and Orion comes out to ask would I make him some lunch, and I was like, yeah. And he goes, Mommy, are you watching Peppa Pig? And I'm like, Peppa Pig? He goes, yeah. It sounds like you're watching an episode of Peppa Pig. And he looks at my laptop. He goes, oh, it's Miss Frou Frou. And I was like, yeah. For those of you who don't know, my kids call Fruitini Miss Frou Frou. I don't know. Maggie started it. But they call her Miss Frou Frou. And so he's like, she sounds like Peppa Pig does. Does she live where Peppa Pig lives? And I'm like, sure. Not that I know where Peppa Pig lives, and not that she's a real person, but sure. She goes, and they said something about her living in England or something, and I'm like, how do you know that? And they're like, she has a queen. Does Miss Frou Frou have a queen? I guess. I don't know nothing about where Miss Frou Frou lives. I don't even remember where Miss Frou Frou lives. And so I was just like, and then I remembered when the royal weddings and stuff were happening that she said about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, she does live, you know, over in England or something. So I was like, yeah, sure, okay, Miss Frou Frou lives over there with Peppa Pig. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're neighbors. They're good old pals. So yeah, like I then, you know, make him lunch and I sit down and I go, oh crap, I gotta get the dogs out for their walk, because the dogs go out, you know, religiously every day, same 3 times, unless I decide to make it 4 or 5 if I need to go walk. And so I was like, I need to get the dogs out. So I make him lunch and I go, you guys want to come to the park with me? And they're like, no, can Miss Sandy come over and watch us? And I'm like, sure, whatever. And so I go get the neighbor, come back, get the dogs, go out the house. I'm walking down the street and this black truck is at the stop sign right when I'm getting ready to cross the road. I go to start to cross and I see this truck just stop dead in the middle of the street, back up, and she's like, hi. I was like, hi. Because, you know, people here are friendly, so, you know, I'm no longer, you know, intimidated when somebody says hi to me and I don't know them, because people here are friendly. They'll just say hi to you. So I'm like, hi. And she's like, you have beautiful dogs. Now, this isn't the first time I've heard that my dogs are beautiful, so I'm just like, you know, okay, thank you. And she's like, where did you get them? Did you get them around here? And I'm like, oh, no. My dogs come from Pennsylvania. There's a breeder in Pennsylvania that I got my dogs from, but, you know, no, I didn't get them from around here. And she goes, would you be willing to sell them? And I'm like, sell them? No, they're not for sale. And she's like, that is just the most beautiful German Shepherd I've ever seen. And I look at Daisy, and Daisy looks at me, and she's like, Mama, no. She's looking at me, Mama, please, no. Please, no, don't make me go with the crazy lady. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Now, Daisy is I'm not going to say she's a rare type of German Shepherd, because there are other German Shepherds her color. Daisy is what they call sable. She's like a very light tan and black German Shepherd. And when I got her, she was actually the only one in her litter that was that color. So that's why I picked her, because she was different from everybody else. get stuck to the plastic. And so the lady was like, you know, I've always wanted a German Shepherd, and I see you walking these two dogs all the time. Have you ever bred them before? And I'm like, together? No, never. Neither one of them have ever had children. And she's like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. And the way she said, oh, really, it was like an evil supervillain. So I was just kind of like, what is happening to my life right now? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, no, neither one of them have ever had children or anything. And she's like, would you be willing to sell the German Shepherd? And I'm like, no. She goes, and I see her reach in her, you know, on the side of her, whatever, in her truck. And then she comes back over and she has like money in her hand. And she goes, how about for $2,000? And I'm like, now, to have that much money in your pocket around here I'm not going to say it's normal, but it's not uncommon because we live in what's called oil-filled country. And the wives here, essentially, they usually have a good bit of money because their husbands work on rigs and they're not usually home. And, you know, if their husband gets paid or something or whatever, like just having that amount of money on them isn't a big shock or anything. So, and plus a lot of people get their checks, you know, because usually they're from out of state. So their checks and stuff are, usually cashed at like a grocery store or something like Walmart or something. So they'll have cash on them. And so when she pulled the money out, I was shocked to see it, mainly because, you know, where I'm come from in Pennsylvania, you don't walk around that kind of money. If you got that kind of money, then again, you ain't living where I lived at in Pennsylvania. So I'm just like, I'm sorry, say what? And she's like, would you sell me your dog for $2,000? And I was like, you guys, okay, so what would you do if somebody offered and showed you cash money, $2,000 for your dog? Would you go home with one less dog? Because I'm not going to lie, for about 30 seconds, I was like, do I really need two dogs? Do I really? Now take it. I know. And I know somebody's yelling it. Oh, but that's Maggie's service dog. Oh, but you can't get rid of Daisy. I never intend on getting rid of my dogs. But that was $2,000 she was waving in my face, okay? So I was just like, I must have stood there with that stupid look on my face for a good 2-3 minutes. And I was like, mouth open, eyes wide, not even looking at her, just looking up. Like, you see the internal mental calculator going for how many bills you can pay with that much money. And I'm just like, no, I'm not willing to sell my dog for $2,000. I'm sorry. I'm like, I can give you information of the breeder if you want to travel that far, but I'm not selling my dog for $2,000. Like, that's not happening. I'm like, this is actually an off-duty service dog. So I'm like, I can't sell it. And she's like, oh, but she's so beautiful. I'm like, another reason why I don't want to sell her. And she's like, well, thank you so much for, you know, talking to me. I'm like, you're welcome. And she's like, would you happen to have the name of the breeder on you? And I was like, not on me, but I know the name of the person. So, like, she pulls up her phone, or she pulls out her phone, and I give her the information of the breeder's name in Pennsylvania, because they have a Facebook as well. And I was like, that's where I got both dogs from. So, you know, you can check them out if you see a dog you like. And she goes, oh my gosh, they have another dog kind of like yours. And I was like, yeah, you know, that's where she came from. So the lady drove off. And I sat there staring at Daisy for a good 10 minutes while we were at the dog park. And I was just like, I couldn't imagine my life without Daisy. Even if she wasn't, you know, so helpful with Maggie. Like, that's my dog. Like, I've raised Daisy since she was like 13 weeks old. Like, I can't get rid of my dog. So yeah, so that was odd. And I like messaged everybody. I was like, somebody just tried to buy my dog for like $2,000. And everybody's like, what? I'm like, yeah, like, what the hell? Like, you can't, I mean, yeah, that's $2,000. But you can't buy somebody. I want to know what kind of person out there. And I'm pretty sure there are people out there like that. Like, they're just like, oh, $2,000? Yeah, sure, here, have the dog. But did she honestly think I was going to be like, oh, yeah, sure, take the dog? Go ahead, take the dog. That's fine. So yeah, so another, you know, weird thing that happened. That's right, the dog park incident. Okay, so like if my life isn't weird enough, the very next day, I believe it was, I'm at the dog park with the dogs, and now every time I walk to the dog park, I'm paranoid that that lady's gonna walk by or something. Like I'm now worried that she's going to come beat me up for my dog. Not that she could probably take me. Yeah, she had a big old truck, but I'm pretty sure she was probably like 5 foot tall. But every time I go to the dog park now, like I'm looking around for this black truck to come out of nowhere. So I'm sitting here at the dog park, and there's a bench on the outside of the dog park. And after the dogs go, do their business, and I go clean it up, because that's gross. I'll go sit on the bench for a few minutes and check my messages and stuff. Because if you guys don't know, I'm usually pretty active when it comes to people asking me questions and stuff. I don't want you guys to think that I'm ignoring you, so like I try to be as diligent about it as possible. Because if not, I will forget that I had messages, and then a week later I'll be like, oh crap, I forgot about this. And I've done that a few times, and I feel really bad. So I'm sitting there, and this lady is, we walk past the dog park, or the playground one, because you got to walk past the playground to get to the dog park. And so this lady walks by the dog park with her baby. Now, my dogs love kids, like go gaga for kids, especially babies. I don't know what it is about babies that make these dogs go nuts, but they love kids, which is fine. I don't mind that they love kids. What I do mind is the lady brought her daughter up to the fence. Now, I don't mind if people, come up to the fence to say hi to the dogs. Not at all, because I'm not worried about the dogs, especially if they have kids. The dogs love seeing the kids. But she brought her baby to the, close to the fence, to the point where it got Killian's attention. He runs up to the fence. And she's like, oh, look at the doggy. Isn't he pretty? Look at the doggy. And then she starts trying to walk away. Well, Killian, in his mind, was like, oh no, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough for me. So Killian decides, I'm going to open the fence. Now, take it. Siberian Huskies are very smart. They are also very stubborn. So when Killian wants something, he will do what he has to do. F is 9:38, so that should be over here. And of course, oh, there it is. So Killian decided he wanted to play with this baby. And who is she to tell him he can't play with the baby? So Killian takes it upon himself. And the back of the dog park's a pretty decent size. Like, it's a big dog park. So they have plenty of room to run and get their exercise. We play catch. They play, with each other. And so for me to get from one side to another, it's going to take me a little bit because I got to run to the other side. Well, Killian decides that because she brought this baby over and only let him see the baby for a few seconds, he was mad. He's, trying to talk to the baby. The baby's just laughing and giggling as they're walking along the fence. Well, Killian decides that's not good enough for me. And there was a couple of other people at the playground playing with their families, like their kids at the playground. My kids were over there too. No, they weren't, because I think Mr. Coffee was home. So I'm sitting there, and Killian goes over to the back gate. And I don't usually let them get close to the gate, but I was looking down at my phone because somebody was messaging me. And I look up, and Killian's jumping at the gate. Now, when Killian jumps at the gate, he knows that if he pushes his nose up the right way, because it's one of the gates that the latch goes up and down on the pole, like a stripper. That was weird. But Killian knows that if he jumps up and down and pushes his nose on that latch, it'll unlatch the gate, which is what he did. Now, if one dog goes out, that means both dogs go out. One, I was just happy that for once there wasn't another dog in the dog park with my dogs, because every once in a while another person will come up and ask, are your dogs friendly? Can I bring my dogs in? And there's only been one instance where I've done that, and I said, yeah, come on, bring them in, and then the dogs didn't get along. And it was usually dogs don't like Daisy because she's so big. And so luckily I was in the dog park this time by myself, and I was just like, oh, whatever. And I look up and I see him unlatch the gate. Now, to get to Killian, there are two gates in front of me. There's the introduction gate, as I like to call it. Like when you first walk into the first gate, there's the introduction place. And it's just a concrete slab where you can let your dogs sniff each other before they get to the grass area. And then there's the gate to get into the grass area. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, let's see. Oh, okay. I'm like, let's see what's going on here. So I look up because I hear, then out of nowhere, I just hear screaming. And I'm like, oh, good gravy. Are you kidding me right now? Like, what is happening? So I look over, see people screaming. I look back. Now, okay, just remember, I'm not the brightest crown in the box, not the sharpest tool in the shed, okay? And I look over and I see my dog outside of the fence. And I'm like, what the heck? And you're going to have to hold on a second because I have to start a new clip so my phone doesn't try to start its own new clip. So hold on. All right. So at this point, the dogs are out the fence. And I look over and there's people screaming. And I'm like, why is everybody screaming? And then I realized my brain kind of put two and two together finally. It was like, look here. Hey, dum-dum, your dogs are out of the fence. I get up. I drop my phone on the ground. Luckily, it didn't break. Good phone. Good phone. Luckily, the phone didn't break. And I have a purse that I carry with me. In my purse, I always carry a flashlight. But the flashlight isn't just a flashlight. It also is a taser. You never know. But I have a flashlight that is a taser. And then I have doggy bags. And I usually keep my cell phone and my vape rig in my purse. Just so I'm not having to hold them in my hand and try to walk dogs. Because, you know, that's fun. So, I need 1K. So, I, for some reason, decided to go through the fence to get to my dogs. Now, take it, my dogs are out of the fence. So, why did I go through two fences to run to the other side of the dog park, to run on the outside of the dog park again, to run over to the playground when I could have just ran to the playground? Again, I told you guys, I'm not the brightest crown in the box, not the sharpest tool in the shed. So, I'm sitting there. And I'm running the whole length of this field, which is about the size, I want to say, maybe a football field without the end zone on one end. So it's a decent size field. I run across it, go out the gate, yelling for the dogs to come back. Neither dog is listening because all they see is kids. And you see these parents screaming, grabbing these kids. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. You know, what is happening in my life right now. Like, I don't even know what I see at this point because I'm so frustrated because the dogs aren't listening and I'm yelling for them to come back. By the time I get to the dogs, okay, the screaming has stopped. The parents are just shocked and amazed because the dogs are not attacking their children. I go over and by the time I get to the dogs, both dogs are laying on the ground, belly up. Killian's rolling around in the mulch. The kids are laughing and like playing and rubbing the dog's bellies and all that. And I am just sitting there with my jaw on the floor. Now, they've done this before. They did the same thing last summer when there was a bus of kids that came to the park. Sorry, I was looking for a symbol. They did the same thing last year when a bus of kids came to the park, but that was, I don't remember what happened there. Oh, we were walking up to the park, and they were still on their leashes, so I had control over them. Without their leashes, I have no control. They do what they want to do. Where they are trained, they don't always listen, okay? So they're not trained that well for those people that are like, whoa, Miss Coffee's dogs are super trained. No, they're not. They're still regular dogs. They will still do what they want to do when they want to do it. And Daisy, she's a follower. She will follow anything that Killian does and will get in trouble and will not care because she at least got to follow Killian. So if he got to get out of the fence, why can't I get out of the fence? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, look here. You two about to stop this. And I go over and I'm like, I am so sorry. I have to apologize to these parents. And the one lady looks mortified. Like you would have thought I pooped in her Wheaties that morning and made her eat them. Like she just looked mortified. And she's like, I thought they were gonna attack my baby and blah blah blah. I'm like, they're not vicious dogs. They're just big dogs. I'm like, unfortunately, because they're big dogs, they get this really bad rap for being vicious. I'm like, they're anything but. Now, if you were over here hitting the kid, then you might have something to worry about. I mean, I can't even hit my kids in front of my dog, which is why I don't hit my kids. Besides the fact that I don't like hitting my kids. So I'm like, you know, they're not vicious. They love kids. And you just look over and the joy on these kids' faces that these dogs are like, Daisy's going down the slide and Killian's just sitting there like licking at this baby like it's a freaking popsicle or something. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I didn't mean for them to scare you. They don't usually jump out of the fence like that. And she goes, oh no, they didn't jump out. They let themselves out. And then they just start laughing about the fact that Killian was able to unlatch the gate. And I was just happy that, you know, they weren't those type of people and were like, well, I'm calling the cops because your dogs got out. And no, I thought they were going to eat my kids. And they were just like, at first they were mortified. And then when, you know, they realized that the dogs weren't going to attack anybody, they just were like, okay, that's super cute. And I'm sitting there watching my dogs playing with these kids. And I'm like, you big bunch of babies. You big babies. Like, seriously. I'm like, and then when I get over there and they see me and I'm like, Daisy, Killian, go get back in the dog park. Daisy has the longest look on her face. Like, really, Mom, do we have to? And I'm like, Daisy, you go get back in that dog park right now. Daisy like slumps over and she has her head down and she goes and slow trots over to the dog park and gets back in the fence. And then she just sits there and looks outside the fence like, why doesn't Killian have to come? Killian looks at me, gives me this look, runs around the playground a few times, and then when he finally stops with the zoomies, I go, get your butt back in that dog park. And then he runs back in the dog park. So yeah. For those folks that are just like, you know, Miss Coffee has her life together. No, I don't. I really don't. I'm a hot mess over here. Like, no. Any day that something in my house doesn't blow up or run away or just disappear into the darkness, it's a good day. It's a good day. And then Mr. Coffee, you guys remember, I think the last whip and chat I did, I talked about Mr. Coffee got one of his teeth pulled. He had a wisdom tooth pulled. Mr. Coffee has, he had both his wisdom teeth. And last time I talked to you guys, he had just had one of them taken out. Well, Horrible Wife Award goes to, okay, so today I'm sitting here, minding my own business, and I go, okay, guys, we're going to go outside to the playground. The kids are like, okay, it's not too hot outside, we'll play. Then they got outside and realized that the sun is a liar, so is the wind, it is hot, is all get out. And Orion is just like, please don't make me go. And I'm like, oh, you're going. You're going, buddy. And he's like, oh, it's just so hot. And I'm like, get your bike. Make your own wind. Fart, do what you got to do. Make your own wind. Maggie, she doesn't care what the temperature is outside. She won't play on the playground if it's that warm, but she will ride her scooter or something. So we go to leave the house to get ready to go to the dog park, and I see Mr. Coffee's truck, and I was like, what is he doing here? Like he doesn't live here or something, like he's not allowed to come home early. And at first I was like, you know, okay, what are you doing here? And he gets out of the truck and his whole face is swollen, and I'm like, oh God, what happened? Did you get hurt at work again? And he goes, no, I had my tooth pulled. I'm sorry, say what? I completely forgot that he told me that he had a dentist appointment this morning and was going to get his other wisdom tooth pulled. Me personally, if I just got a wisdom tooth pulled, and he didn't get put to sleep or anything, but if I just had a tooth pulled, the last thing I'm doing is driving myself home. I'm not that gangster. When it comes to mouth pain, I'm a big baby. I don't care. It goes right up there with shots. I don't deal with mouth pain very well, which makes no sense because I have 2 wisdom teeth myself that need to be pulled, and I refuse to have them pulled. They want $2,000 a piece to put me to sleep to take out 2 teeth. No, thank you. I'm good. They'll stay there. They don't bother me. So I just stopped. Like I was like, I went to the dentist once. I'm good. Y'all told me what I need to hear. My teeth are fine. I'm going home. So we went ahead and canceled that. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying you $2,000 to take something from me that's not bothering me. Like, if it was giving me issues, I think I've had maybe 2 toothaches in maybe 4 years. Other than that, no, they don't bother me. So I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not paying $4,000 to have 2 teeth pulled. That's not happening. I'm like, plus I'm already asleep, so why wouldn't you take the other one? And they're just like, well, we usually like to do it when well, you usually apparently like to not get paid because I'm not paying you to sit there and, no, that's not happening. So anyways, he gets out of the car and he's like, oh yeah, I had my tooth pulled, you know, everything's fine, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it don't look fine. It didn't look fine. His whole face was swollen. I'm like, you just walk up in here looking like HR Puff and stuff, and I'm supposed to just be like, oh, hey, welcome home, honey. He goes, you forgot again, didn't you? I'm like, maybe. He goes, where are you going? I'm like, I was going to go walk the dogs. He goes, I'll go with you. Okay. So he goes with us to walk the dogs, which was really nice because we used to do this all the time last year. Like, we would all go out together to walk the dogs, and we stopped this year because his schedule's just been so crazy that by the time he gets home, he'll eat dinner and pass out. So it was nice because we actually got to sit at the park while watch the kids play, watch the dogs play, you know, have a conversation that lasts more than 30 seconds, and it wasn't about video games. And it was actually really, really nice to be able to sit down with him and talk. And we were talking about, you know, how we're getting ready for the trip this weekend and everything else. And he was asking me questions about the channel. And it's funny because right as we got to the dog park, I got a message from this woman. And she was like, hi, Miss Coffee. My name is such and such. I had a question for you. Now, you guys all know that little emoji that I use on my thumbnails. That little emoji is made by my phone. So for those of you who are wondering, where does she get that clip art from? That is actually a picture of me turned into a cartoon. And then the phone turns it into a bunch of different little facial features. So like the surprised look, the, you know, taking a picture, the peace sign, all that fun jazz. It is something done with my phone. And what you do is you take a picture of your face and then they turn you into a cartoon. So all that little emoji is me as a cartoon. That's exactly what I look like. Even though in my profile picture on YouTube, I have the longer hair. When I took that picture for my Animoji, it's before I permed my hair. So I had an afro. And as you guys know, I started my channel in September. So I permed my hair. That was like the last time that year that I had permed my hair because it was getting cold. So when it gets cold out, I'll leave it sit in an afro because usually it's under a hat anyways. So I took a picture with my phone of me with my afro and my glasses on, and that's what the cartoon image is. So for anybody wondering, that's what that is. Well, the woman that contacted me while we were all sitting there, she was just like, you know, I hope everything's fine and everything, you know, blase, blase. And I'm like, oh yeah, everything's good. And she's like, have you ever thought of making your little character on your videos into a diamond painting? And I'm like, my what? Now again, you guys, if you don't know, I am the worst YouTuber ever, okay? I never remember anything. I don't do this, what they call correctly. Like, well, where are my tweezers? I just had them, didn't I? But I don't do things like other people do them. I do them the way I feel like I want to do them at that particular time. So like, things on my channel don't run like other channels. Sorry, I'm looking for my tweezers. I found my scissors. Love how that works. Look for one thing, find everything but what you're looking for. Okay, I gotta find those. Oh, they're right on my lap. Good gravy. Alright, where did I see that obstruct? There it is. There's like a little piece of diamond chip broken off onto the diamond painting. But the lady asked, you know, have you ever thought about turning your Animoji into a diamond painting? And I'm like, and that's what it's called. It's called, I think it's called an AR emoji. And I'm like, no. And at first I didn't know what she was talking about, because people will message me all the time talking out the side of their neck, essentially. And if you don't know what that just means talking a bunch of gibberish. They'll just like tell me a bunch of different ways how much they like the channel, and I'm like, I'm happy you like the channel. Thank you so much. Like, I never know, like, I'm always that awkward person. I'm like, I don't know what to say when they say it like 3 or 4 times in a row, and they're like, I love you, and I'm like, I'm awkward. So I was just like, oh, you know, okay, no. And then I realized what she was talking about. I was like, hold up, that little cartoon character? And she's like, yeah, have you ever thought about making it into a diamond painting? Like, selling it. I'm like, selling it? I'm like, you do realize that's literally just a picture of me turned into a cartoon, right? And she's like, is it really? I'm like, yeah, that's what I actually look like. And she's like, oh, no, that's even better. Would you think about turning it into a diamond painting? Like, what if Diamond Art Club could do something with that into a diamond painting? And I'm like, I don't see that being a thing. But I'm like, you're more than welcome to ask them if you want. Good luck. If they contact you back, let me know what they say. But I'm like, yeah, it literally is just a picture of me like, I took a picture of myself and they turned it into that. Actually, if you go back and look, I did the same thing for Rachel. I took a picture of Rachel and turned it into an AR emoji on my channel, and it's like the last video I have of something I got from Rachel. So I was just like, no, I've never thought about getting it done as a diamond painting before. Now I'm kind of curious as to, you know, getting it done as a diamond painting, but usually no, I'm not really thinking about that. Okay, and she's like, but you're okay if I ask Diamond Art Club to do so? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, tell me what to say. Now, you know, it's Diamond Art Club, so like, I don't see them being like, oh yeah, sure, we'll do that. We'll make some diamond paintings just for Miss Coffee subscribers for her channel, kind of like, you know, her little mascot or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? It's worth a shot. If you want to ask them, go ahead and ask them. So I guess she asked them, and then she made a comment on one of my posts where she tagged Diamond Art Club, and I just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. She's like, hey, Diamond Art Club, you know, I love Miss Coffee's channel, and you know, how cool would it be if you could turn her little character into a diamond painting? And I was just like, okay, it's literally just a picture of me. Like, whatever. And then me and Mr. Coffee were like sitting there, and he's looking at me. He goes, have you ever thought about that? And I was like, no, I haven't thought about turning it into a diamond painting. It's a picture of me. I'm not that self-centered. I mean, I can be a little, you know, big-headed about myself, but not like that. And he's like, no, like merchandise. I'm like, merchandise? I'm sorry, say what now? I'm like, the only problem with that is I don't want merchandise to cloud my diamond painting. Like, I don't want my channel to turn into me just selling my merchandise. And he's like, well, no. He goes, like, you know, you could just, like, you know, do it on like a side hustle. And I'm like, no, see, side hustles turn into your hustle and then my hustle, and then the only hustling I'm doing is, you know, making stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to turn into that. And he's just like, well, how would your subscribers feel about that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, but I know I don't want to turn my channel from crafting into just, you know, selling my items. Like, that's not what I'm about. That's not what I do. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not the direction I want to go with my channel. And he's like, well, you should probably, you know, think about it, because I'm pretty sure your subscribers would love to have Miss Coffee merchandise. And I'm like, what merchandise? Well, go figure. I mentioned it to JJ. For those of you who don't know, JJ Space here on YouTube. And the next thing I know, she's bored. And one thing you learn when you meet JJ is you don't let her be bored and give her an idea, because she will just take off with it. No joking. 15-20 minutes later, here she comes back with a shirt with my little animoji thing on it, and she's like, look, I think that'd be cool. I would want one. And I'm like, what the world? How did you even, you know what? One does not question JJ when she does these things. You just tell her she did a good job, because there's no method to her madness, okay? It's really cool, because she can literally find and do just about anything. And I'm just like sitting here like, I can barely tie my shoes most days, and you somehow made my image into a shirt. and then a mug, like a coffee mug. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, yeah, you just order it from this company. It'd be really cool if you did that for your channel. And I'm like, dude, I got enough going on my channel. I'm not trying to like sell a bunch of stuff. Just, she goes, but think about it though, it would be cool. And I'm like, I guess it would be cool, but I don't see anybody wanting to wear a shirt with a phrase on it that I say with my little RG emoji thing on it. I'm like, but okay. And she's like, they have all kinds of stuff, stickers and this and that. I'm like, yeah, that's all I need. I need to sell merchandise, because no. So yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny today. Also, Mr. Coffee got an Oculus Rift. For those of you who don't know what that is a virtual reality headset. Meaning you put this big thing on your head and you have 2 controllers in each hand, and essentially it's like you are in the game. I watched him almost fall off the floor because he thought he was falling into water playing Minecraft. It was interesting to watch, but then the most interesting part was wondering how much of my stuff he's gonna break, because oh my god, our apartment's not huge, so for him to have something, you know, VR, we have to move furniture. And I'm like, I'm not opposed to moving the furniture, but not every time you want to play the thing. And I'm like, plus you just got your tooth, you know, fixed today. Are you really gonna feel up to doing VR? And he's like, oh yeah. Because apparently when he was in Pennsylvania, him and his friend, you know, got this grand scheme together that they would get him a VR because his friend had a VR. So, you know, why shouldn't Mr. Coffee have a VR? And I'm like, you want to know why Mr. Coffee shouldn't have a VR? Because Mr. Coffee has small children. And he goes, yeah, well, so does Salt. And I'm like, okay, well, Mr. Coffee has 2 big dogs. Bet your Salt doesn't have that. Salt does not have that. Salt has 2 little dogs. And I'm like, yeah, but your dogs are tall enough that if they walk past you while you're playing that, and I can't tell the dogs not to walk in the living room. Like, it, you know, it's the living room. This is where they sleep half the time. And so I was like, I can't tell the dogs to just not walk in here. And he's like, it'll be okay. I got this. And I'm like, okay, every time he says he got this, I wait for something to like burst into flames. And so he hooks it up. He gets all the little computer components together for it. And apparently he needs a new video card. And I was just like, the thing itself was $400. I'm not paying another $200 for a video card right now. Like, not doing it. You're gonna have to settle for the crappy quality of the games until school is in session and we've already gotten all the kids' school stuff, because I'm not about to sit here and waste money on a video card. He'll get the stupid video card. Don't worry about Mr. Coffee. He'll find some way to sell something or do something he'll get the frickin' video card he needs. But he was all kinds of excited about this VR thing, and I'm like sitting here looking, because he gets this gigantic package in the mail. I get this one little package with some coloring books in it. He goes, just sit down with your coloring books. I got this. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Forget you. So I go sit down with my coloring books. But yeah, so he spent, and I was tired today, and for the first time since I don't know when, I got a chance to actually sit down and do nothing. Nobody was messaging me. Nobody was talking to me. There were no lives going on that I was interested in. It was just nothing. The kids were playing together quietly. Mr. Coffee was entertained with his VR headset, and I got to sit here in peace. And most people would be like, oh, I bet she was diamond paint. Nope, I didn't diamond paint. I didn't color. I didn't do nothing. I sat here for an hour in just the peace and quiet and just enjoying having a break, having a moment to take a deep breath and enjoy every second of it. I love what I do here on YouTube, but it does get a little bit overwhelming sometimes. And so I try to find, parts of the day where I can sit back and just take a deep breath, because it's a lot. Because if it's not somebody messaging you, there's somebody got a comment about something or somebody trying to tell you how to do something. And I was telling Mr. Coffee the other day, I'm like, YouTube, where you go to post videos and have a bunch of people you don't know tear down the videos that you just work so hard to make. And there's always going to be that person out there that swears they know more about something than you. And there's a way to go about things. Like, you can be really nasty with it, or you can be like, oh, hey, I saw that, you're doing this. This is, here's some tips for you to help you out. And then there's those people that are like, you can't do it like that. You have to do it like this because what you have is this. And they swear they know what you have, when in reality, you're just like sitting back like, that's not what I have. And I always feel bad because then they're like, like they'll be like, oh, well, you have, a red diamond painting pen and you can't use it like that. You have to use it like this. And I'm like, actually, I have a blue diamond painting pen, but okay, I'm pretty sure I know what I ordered. Because I had a couple of people mention about, the reason I like my Arteza over my Prismacolor is because my Artezas are watercolor. And I'm like, no, they're not. Actually, I went back to go buy the watercolor and they were sold out. So the ones I have are wax pencils. They're not watercolor pencils. I just like the fact that Arteza writes a little bit nicer than my Prismas. I'm just not a Prisma fan. It's okay. The world won't end. I'm not a fan of Prismas. And one lady actually got nasty with me, and she's like, well, not like you're an expert or anything. You just started coloring, a week ago, and now it's something I'm just like, I don't entertain that nastiness. But YouTube can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes with, you have people telling you what to do and how to do things, and it's like, you put yourself out there and you have to get ready for the criticism because there's going to be those know-it-alls. There're going to be those snobs, those people that, think they know better than you, and you're just like, well, where's your channel? You don't have one? All right, then hush up, Buttercup, and sit there and just listen or go away. And that's one thing I tell people all the time when it comes to YouTube is you have to have a tough skin just for that aspect, because people are going to tell you what to do. Whether you want the solicited advice or not, they're going to tell you how to run your channel, what to do with your channel, how to make, it's not even necessarily things to improve it. It's just things that they want to see. Like, oh, I don't like that I can see your table. Can you push your table away because I don't want to see that? Why are you paying that close attention to the table in the video? Like, I'm making a video about markers and you're looking at a table. So yeah, so it was super nice to be able to just sit here for a second and take a deep breath and not have a care in the world. And just as, quickly as I was able to sit here, and I got an hour of peace, which I was, ever so thankful for. And then, like, I started getting messages and stuff again, and I was just like, all right, back to it. Now, I don't mind doing it because I love it. But every once in a while, it is nice to take a step back and take a deep breath and, take some time for yourself, take care of yourself, because, oh, sorry, I'm shaking you. Because, you can't essentially take care of anybody else if you don't take care of yourself. And I don't do a lot of nice things for myself. I mean, lately I have been, because I've been buying myself the coloring books, and I got, diamond paintings coming. Well, I have a diamond painting coming. But, oh, sorry, my nose is all itchy. But I don't usually typically do a whole lot of nice things for myself. Like, I'd rather do nice things for Mr. Coffee and the kids, not necessarily myself. So it was nice to be able to take that time to myself and do what I wanted to do, which was absolutely nothing. I did nothing. I was not productive. I got nothing done. I don't care. Like, it was just me, and that's it. Like, just me sitting there chilling. So then, like, the messages started flooding back in, and I was like, all right, back to it. And Mr. Coffee's just like, you should really take a longer break because you looked exhausted. I'm like, I looked exhausted because I was so relaxed. Like, I needed that to recharge my Miss Coffee meter. I drank a whole cup of coffee, and I was just so happy, and now I'm, like, super hyper. And he's like, why are you so hyper? I'm like, because I didn't have a cup of coffee at night, because I had a cup of coffee at 7, or no, it was 5 o'clock, 5 or 6 o'clock. I had a whole big cup of coffee, and my coffee mug is not small, like, it's a big coffee cup. I had a whole cup of coffee at like 6 o'clock, and yeah. Now I'm drinking water, because drinking coffee that early might have made me a tad bit hyper, just a tad bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. So yeah, what letter am I looking for? I'm looking for N, which is 890, which is over here. There it is. So yeah, but we got to get the dogs out again today, and the kids played here, and Maggie was just oh so happy because she had a box. She had a box, which means it's fort time, and she sat in the box, and the little brown paper, like when you get a Diamond Art Club, how that has that brown newspaper material in it. It had a piece of paper in it, and Maggie was just all beside herself because she had a piece of paper to play with, and she was all excited, and she's like, Mommy, look what I got. I got a box. And I'm like, I'm so happy for you that you got a box. And she's like, you can't play in my box. Okay, that's probably a good thing because Mommy probably wouldn't fit in your box. She's like, well, I'm going to go play in my box. So she writes her name on the box to let everybody know that that's her house and that nobody can come in without knocking and saying that her you know, you got to say a password to get into her house because, you know, why wouldn't you have to say a password to get into a box? So I'm just like, okay. And then Minna called, and Minna just wanted to call and say hi and check in on us and see how we were doing and, you know, let us know that she misses us and everything. She says hi to everybody. She also says, you know, big thank you to everybody that, you know, well wishes for her to get home and everything. And she also asked about if I sent out her gift card, and I was like, yes, I sent it out today, yay. So she called. Maggie came out of the box and she told Minna she was in a box, and then she spent the next, I don't know, 2 hours playing in this box, except for we have recliners on our couch, and so she let down the recliner so that she could there it is. She let down the recliner, or she let up the recliner so that she could put the box on the couch. And then she just sat in the box, coloring on the inside of the box. And I'm like, if that's how you want to spend your life. Orion was just happy because he didn't have to play Minecraft with her anymore. So he's in his room underneath his bed reading a book or something. And I'm like, hey, dude, you want to come out here and hang with us? And he's like, no, Maggie's got her box. She says I'm not allowed to come out there. And I was like, yeah, she got you too, huh? All right, then. So Ryan just kind of hung back in his room because he knows what that means. If he asks to play with that box, if he looks at it sideways, she's going to throw a fit. And then, you know, Mr. Coffee was playing on his VR headset, and so Ryan did come out here and look at that for a little bit, and then he goes back into his, as I like to call it, his dark cave to go finish reading his book. He finished another one of his chapter books, and I actually found the public library. We couldn't figure out where exactly it was, and here is a straight line down the street from the house. So I will be taking them there to go look at books this week, or not this weekend, but next weekend. I'll take them there to go look at books. Also, I was asked to do a whip and chat on Tuesday next week. So yeah, I will be doing a whip and chat instead of on Wednesday. I will do it on Tuesday. I was asked by Alexis Bees, I think is her name, here on YouTube. She's a midwife and she was like, you know, I need you to do a super long whip and chat on Tuesday. And I was like, okay. I don't remember what she needed it for, but I guess next week I'm going to try to remember to do a whip and chat on Tuesday. I'm going to try to record a couple of videos. I think I'm going to wait till next week to do my flip throughs, because I already have to record the whip and chat. I'm probably going to record that because we leave this weekend, and the appointment's on Monday. So I'm going to try to see about recording that maybe, I don't know, maybe sometime at some point this week. But yeah, so like, and actually with that whip and chat, I might do those tags that I kept saying that I was going to do that I didn't do. I might do the accent tag. I don't usually like doing tags because, you know, even when I hear somebody say that they're doing a tag, I'm like, oh God, not a tag. I like more so free talking because then I don't feel like it's like a robot talking. And not that there's anything wrong with tags, because not everybody is like me and has the gift of gab, and that's not me, you know, talking myself up. That's just me saying, you know, not everybody. Killian, will you say some water for the fish? Not everybody, you know, like I said, not everybody's born with the gift of gab, so not everybody can come up with topics to talk about, but, you know, they still want to do whipping chats, and, you know, that's fine. But for me, it just, I'm not a fan of tags. Like, I did them when I first started, and then I was like, why am I doing tags? So, yeah. So, maybe I'll do those tags for that whipping chat, if you guys don't mind. Because I'm not sure how much information I can give you from Friday, because I do my lives on Friday, from Friday until Tuesday, which is why I usually like to do it on Wednesday, because then I have like a whole week. So yeah, I'll probably do the accent tag then. There was another tag that everybody was talking about. I don't remember. I actually started making a tag, and then another YouTuber came out with a tag similar to mine, and because I didn't finish the tag, I just kind of was like, you know, well, if this YouTuber is putting out a tag, and it's not like the person copied me or anything, she just happened to do a tag. She didn't even know that I was doing one, because I think the only person that really knew was Rachel, because I told her once I finished with it, I'd let her be the first one to test it out for me. And so I never finished it, and maybe I will finish it for the road trip and then record it when I get back. Either way, there will be a tag video coming up for Tuesday next week, just because I don't think I'll have enough to talk about. I mean, but then again, there's always something to talk about. And it might just be what some people like to call a filler video, just because I'm gonna be gone and I won't be back in town until late Monday. So trying to record a whipping chat while the whole family is home is gonna be a debacle, because then Mr. Coffee wants to spend time together and the kids want to do stuff together, and he might want to go swimming or something, and we all know how much Miss Coffee loves the pool. Surprisingly, though, since Minna's left, the little ones haven't asked to go back to the pool. They're fine. They were like, that's our summer. We went on an airplane ride. We got to go swimming for a little bit. We're good. I probably will take them there tomorrow, though, because it is supposed to be extremely warm. So, yeah. And when it gets warm like that, I can't take... Well, I can take Killian outside. And the funny thing is, I don't know if anybody else does this with their dogs. So with my dogs, when it gets really warm outside, and I have to take them out, obviously, you can't just let them poop in the house because that's gross. When it gets extremely warm outside, I tend to get some socks, like some tube socks, a pair of Mr. Coffee's old socks with the holes in them. And I will wet them and wring them out really good. Like, I'll squeeze as much water out of them as I can. And then I put them on the dogs. Okay, hear me out, though. One, it's adorable to see, okay? If you walk down the street and seen a dog wearing tube socks, you would laugh, okay? It's adorable. So, not only is it adorable, but it helps keep their feet from being burned on the hot sidewalk, because, you know, they have that rule that if you put the back of your hand down, if it's too hot, then it's too hot for the dog's feet. So, like, I don't feel like they should have to burn their paw pads off just to go poop. So, and Killian, he's what we like to call a free pooper. He's a free pooper because he refuses to poop on a leash, like where Daisy will just let loose on the sidewalk. She don't even care. She don't care if she's in grass, the sidewalk, your house, your mama house. She was gonna just poop anywhere. Killian, on the other hand, is a butthole and will not poop if he's on a leash. If you let him off the leash, oh yeah, he'll go. It'll take him like 2 seconds. But the moment he's on the leash, no, he will not go to the bathroom. He will pee on something, but you have to take him by like a tree that smells good or something, and he'll pee on it. But like poop, no, he will not poop on a leash. So I have to take him over to the dog park, which is, you know, on the next block from the house. So I'm like, okay. And I thought about it for a while. I'm like, what can I do so that they don't burn their paw pads? And I'm like, wet socks. And then what I do is I walk them over in the wet socks, put the wet socks like on the fence or something. And then on the way back, they wear the wet socks back home. Because, you know, if it shouldn't be too hot to the point where it, you know, automatically dries the socks. So I put the wet socks on them and we'll walk them to the dog park like that. And that way they're not burning their paw pads, and they're then not like, you know, sitting there with burnt paw pads. You try walking on a hot concrete for like 2 blocks or maybe half a block or something. I don't know how far. It's like a 3-minute walk to the dog park. But yeah, so I think, and on days where it's really hot, I don't like taking them out, so they'll end up missing their second walk just so they don't burn their paw pads. Sorry, Daisy was shuffling. I thought it was Mr. Coffee. Anyways, so yeah, so I might take them swimming tomorrow just to get them out of the house again, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a fight until we get there, and then it'll be a fight to get them all. Why is it like they'll fight me to go because they won't want to? They get there, they'll have fun, then they will fight me to leave, and then when we leave, they'll be just happy to be home. I don't get it. It's a whole hot mess. Let's see, what's the next color we need? We're gonna do 2 more colors, and then I'll let you guys go because this video is gonna be like hella long. So yeah. And why are there other colors in here? Like, seriously? Get out of here. You gotta play, like, Operation to get the other colors out of here. And these tweezers are bent on the end. I'm not sure what happened. There we go. You ever get colors mixed up and that color's not even in the kit and you're like, what were you doing? Alright. Here's those tweezers. Deadly tweezers. Oh, also, we were in Jennifer Creation Walls live, and she was talking about coloring books, and she wanted a new coloring book. I'm guessing I want to say she said something about she didn't like the one she had or something. So I sent her a couple of coloring books, and one was, as you say, an adult coloring book. You should ask her about it. So if you make it to this part of the video, I don't know. If you make it this far in the video, what emoji can we put up this time? Just put up a happy face. Put up a happy face in the comment section. It's just always interesting to see who watches these things all the way through, because I know a lot of you love the super long whipping chats. And I'm like, who's actually watching these? Like, is it worth me continuing to make the whipping chats this long? Like, is anybody actually still out there listening? So if you make it this far in the whipping chat and you didn't skip through the first hour and, 40 some odd minutes worth of this video, put a smiley face in the comment section. And I say smiley face because that's something that people can easily do without having to message me and ask me how to put an emoji in the comments. So yeah, put a little happy face. But yeah, hopefully you're having a great day. Can't wait to see what tomorrow holds. It's always a new adventure at the Tepper House. There's always something going on. Like, there's never a day where there's nothing going on. Even if we're just sitting in the house all day, there's always something going on. Also, I've been enjoying Spasmodic Arts has come back with a vengeance with her acrylic pours, and Minna has been really enjoying those. And then she also plays The Sims, because I'm not sure why my favorite people to watch they'll play and then they'll stop playing. Well, I know why Rachel stopped. Rachel stopped because she does school stuff now, and that's kind of cool. But I guess the session she has with the kids that she has is ending soon, so she's been extremely busy. So I understand why she stopped playing. And then Spasmodic Arts, she stopped playing because her husband got sick, or her fiance, Mr. Cuckoo, because he just loves that name so much. There's a drill like static stuck to my pen. We're just gonna put that over there. So yeah, so far, this painting isn't too bad, minus the confetti. I've had a few bad drills. I'm not sure if this is the old batch of drills or what, but there were a few bad drills in here. Anyways, I was talking about Sims. I'll go back to the canvas here in a minute. But a lot of 131 or 134s. How do you get your drill straight? You shake the crap out of the tree like you got Parkinson's. And then voila. Alright. So, yeah, but when Spasmodic Arts stopped playing Sims, Rachel started playing. And I was like, oh, okay, so I can still watch gameplay of The Sims. And a lot of times I'll actually play with them, like not in the same world or anything, but I'll play Sims while they're playing because then I feel like I'm playing with somebody. And then when Rachel stopped, Spasmodic Arts came back, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I thought for sure I was going to have to go without Sims for a while. And somebody made the comment, they're like, well, why don't you just play Sims on your channel? No, that's not the type of crafting I do. I suck at playing The Sims, especially this new one. I don't have any of the expansion packs or anything. I just like messing around with it. And I think at this point, I have a kid that isn't necessarily in the best of places because no matter what you do for this poor child, he doesn't want it. And then when you're done doing whatever it is, he then, like I was trying to feed the kid animal crackers and he wouldn't eat the animal crackers. And then when I put the animal crackers away, then he was hungry and I was like, but I just tried to feed you. And then I'd pull him out something else and he didn't want that either. But then as soon as I put it away, he'd be hungry again. And I was like, I'm about to throw this kid out the window. I don't make a good virtual parent. So yeah, like, I love watching other people play the game. So I was happy to hear that Spasmodic Arts is back. I do know she did get sick. So I'm hoping that she recorded enough because she's very adamant about wanting to post 5 days a week on her channel since she was gone for 3 months or something like that. So yeah, like there. Sorry. So yeah, she was gone for a little bit, but she came back and then she got sick with, the plague. And so I'm hoping it doesn't affect Simplay. I really hope she gets better, but I also hope it doesn't affect Simplay because her watching The Sims is just freaking hilarious. But other than that, we have just been trying to get things back to normal in the house. With Minna gone, it's weird because funny thing is, Minna played Sims when she was here. She really liked it, minus the fact, now, for those folks who play The Sims, have your Sim ever gotten so depressed that it stopped eating and taking care of itself? I've never experienced this with my Sim, so I didn't know this was a thing. Minna was playing The Sims, and I'm not going to say she did a horrible job, but she did such a horrible job that the Sim was so depressed that it refused to live. Like, it refused to eat, it refused to drink, it refused to do anything. It would go to the bathroom and then sit there and complain that it was sad, but it wouldn't do anything. To the point where I kept having to, like, change the start point. Like, I'd exit the game without saving just to get it to a point where I could fix it. And then I'd have her Sim, being back to normal again and, whatever. And then she'd do it again. And I'm like, Minna, what are you doing with this Sim? And she's like, I don't know why it's so bored and it's annoying. And I'm like, yeah, I know that feeling. So yeah, like, I've never experienced that with The Sims. And I thought that was hilarious that she somehow made The Sims so depressed that it refused to live. It was just like, life, I give up. So yeah. Uh-oh. What number did I forget? Is that number 4? Stop shaking. Okay, that's number 4. I keep missing diamonds on the side over here. I actually got a lot of done in this. Got a tree over here. No, there we go. I only need 1 drill. So yeah, I do like watching gameplay. Like, is anybody else like that? When I'm diamond painting, I'll listen to just about anything besides country music. I'm not a country music fan, but I'll listen to just about anything. And, like, I love watching right now. I'm watching this guy called Markiplier. His voice, oh my gosh, his voice is so hot. But he is hilarious to watch when he plays games. And the one game I love to watch him play is called Pogo Stick or something. or a pogo jump. And he gets so frustrated at the game because the little character like has to jump on a pogo stick through all these worlds and stuff, and he can't seem to like jump, and you have to jump up trees and stuff, and the guy can't do it, and he gets, sorry, I keep bumping you. He gets so frustrated trying to do it, and it's just the funniest thing on the planet to watch. But yeah, when I'm diamond painting, I'll listen and watch just about anything. And since YouTube essentially has become TV, there we go. Sorry, I was trying to get that to snap into place. But since YouTube has essentially become my TV now, like I don't watch regular TV, not that I watched a whole lot of it before, but I don't watch regular TV. So I'm sitting here looking for something that's sitting right here in my face. Jeez, So yeah, like I love its gameplays. They're no, don't you take that. How you gonna take the whole thing of wax, you greedy? Good gravy. Now this is new wax. Like I gave you guys that tip about using old wax. This is new wax in this multiplacer. Like I literally put it in before I started recording. And so that's why it's trying to take the wax out of here. But I do trust the, dirty wax method. Like let's try this pen, because this pen has dirty wax in it. So we're just gonna place that down. See, no problems at all. And this 4-placer, I believe, has dirty wax in it. So yeah, so use dirty wax. Anyways, but yeah, watching that guy play that game is hilarious. And because I do nothing besides watch YouTube videos whenever I'm diamond painting, it just gives me something to watch. And I'm not even sure how I think Minna introduced us to his channel. And we literally have been like obsessively watching this guy's channel for like the last month and a half or so. He's been on YouTube for like 7 years, so we probably haven't even touched the surface of how many videos he actually has. So that's awesome. Alright, so I got number 4, which is 29. Let's get number 7 back out here since there's a bunch of those that we missed. It's the only bad thing about confetti. You put that tray away and you're like, oh, I got all that symbol. And then the symbol's like, yeah, nope, you lied. Like, there's some ones right there. I give up on life. Alright. But yeah, so I did try grayscale for the first time with coloring. It's still intimidating. I'm still scared to death of that page. If you would like to see what I did color, please check out my Instagram page or my group on Facebook. I did post the image in both those social media sites. So yeah. Uh-oh. I didn't put a drill down the whole way. But I do have a Diamond Art Club coming in this week. That's always fun. It's actually one that I ordered. I ordered my painting, I want to say Saturday. The cool thing is, okay, so for those of you who are new to diamond painting or my channel, one, I open a lot of diamond art clubs. So if you don't like diamond art club, this is the wrong place for you. But the cool thing is, they didn't. If anybody else didn't notice, they didn't have the 30% off code this time. So everybody, of course, was going around looking for codes. Now, I know there's supposedly this secret code out there that everybody's been using. Which I don't think is supposed to be used on the new kits, but some people just don't care. But I didn't know nothing about no code, but I have reward points, because if you guys or Diamond Art Club, they do reward points, and your reward points can get you anything from $25 off to $50 off. I think they got rid of the $100 off. I'm not 100% sure, but I decided, in me and all my great wisdom, I'm like, I'm going to order one even without the 30% off. And then I was like, hold up, why don't I just use my reward points? Because I never use them because I always forget. So I was like, it's like bringing a coupon to the grocery store. I never freaking remember. I will cut coupons, and I've done that. I've cut coupons for hours. Get to the store, forgot the coupon. Want to murder everybody in the store. Why? It's not their fault, but it's my fault. But I'm frustrated because I forgot the coupons. So, yeah, I used my reward points and I paid $10 for my brand new canvas. So that should be here later this week. I think it should be here. I think you guys should see that Thursday maybe. Because I know for those of you that are not interested in the coloring, I know there's been a lot of coloring on the channel lately. I make no apologies. But I promise you DiamondPainting will come back and we're going to split it up evenly so that those that aren't interested in coloring don't get bombarded with a bunch of nothing but like my channel slowly turning into a coloring channel. So yeah, like, and it's funny because I was gonna say something like, you know, oh, if you guys want to see me try a new craft, you know, write it down in the comments. But I can already see Rachel Ray maniacally laughing in the corner going, yes, yes, beaded cross stitch, here we come. And I don't know why I won't try beaded cross stitch. One, probably because I suck at cross stitching. But two, because I suck at cross stitching. So for those of you like, why won't you try beaded cross stitch? And so I think it was JJ called me a cross stitch racist because I didn't want to do beaded cross stitch. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. I suck at regular cross stitch. Why would I do beaded cross stitch? That's just slowing me down. I'm already slow as it is. You're gonna slow me down even more? Like, good gravy. Give me a break, people. But I know I suck at cross stitching. So just the thought of getting this another craft. I'm pretty sure we can all agree that we need another craft like we need a hole in the head. So like another craft is all I need. Two, again, I suck at cross stitch. And I don't know. Like, I've been making the same potato for Mr. Coffee for like, what, months now. Months. It's still sitting over here behind me, taunting me every time I look at it. So I hid it under some book so it stopped looking at me. I don't need that negativity in my life. Alright, I'm going to do one more color. And then I should probably call it. Because, oh good gravy, this is going to be a 2-hour video. You guys are a bunch of troopers. Just sitting here and listening to me jibba jabba about nothing. What the heck color is that? 915. 915. So yeah. Plus, I kind of wanted to finish this little section. Ooh, isn't that a pretty color? Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Come on, shake it. Y'all remember that song. Don't act like I don't remember that song. Andre 3000. That was my dude. Not literally, but you know what I mean. Why do the drills like to go on the drill pen upside down? Good gravy. But yeah, I'm not good at regular cross stitch, let alone beaded cross stitch. So like whenever Rachel says it, like I can see the evilness in her face through the phone. Like I can just see it. And I know she's sitting there like with her hands rubbing them together like, yes, we'll get her soon. We'll get her on this bandwagon soon. And I'm like, no, Rachel, you'll never drag me in. It's a whole like scenario in my head where in reality Rachel gives two craps whether I do this or not. I'm sitting here like, yes, that will never happen. And then she's just like, yes, it will. I'll get you eventually. Like I'm telling you, there's a whole monologue going on in there. It's a hot mess in my head. You do not want to be in there, believe me. Anyways, so I probably should call it quits on this video. So if you are new to the channel and would like to see more videos, not quite as long as this one. I try not to make all my videos like 2 hours long, but I do usually have some pretty long whipping chats. So if you like listen to people blubber blabber about their families and their lives and what they do behind the scenes, feel free to stay. Hit that subscribe button and the bell. That bell will tell you whenever I post a video, and it's pretty random. I'll say that it's pretty random. There's a freaking F right there. Good googly moogly. Where's the F's? How is it that you pull these things out of the container 75 times in 1 hour and you still can't find letters? F. F is for Frank. Frank. Alright, there's Frank. Get down, Frank. So yeah, so if you're new to the channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime I randomly decide to put up a video. And believe me, it's random. With that said, folks, I'm going to thank you so very much for watching this incredibly long video. I know how much you guys love them. I'm going to finish off this symbol, and then I'm going to let you guys go. on about your day, because again, this is a freaking 2 hour. I didn't expect this to be 2 hours long. Okay, I even sat here when I first started and was like, okay, this is not going to be a 2 hour video. We're going to make this maybe an hour, hour and a half. And this is why you don't put limits on yourself, because the moment you do, boom, this happens and you have a 2 hour whip and chat. And then everybody's like, how do you talk for 2 hours? I don't know. I just blubber blabber about nothing. But before I let you go, let me make sure I got everything I want to tell you guys. I think I did. So yeah. This last color here. No, get it. There it is. Gotta play hide and go seek with the drills here. Let's see, is that all of that color? Yes, it is. I'm almost finished this section, so I think I'll stay up a little bit later and finish that section. But yeah. So as you can see, I've got a little bit more done on it. I'm getting there. I know you guys are like, what's taking you so long, Miss Coffee? Life, okay? Life is taking me that long. I'm just joking. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please always remember, I'm going to remind you, like I always do, to be kind, be courteous,